folks, thanks for tuning in. Hope y'all doing okay today. Another Cruise with Smooth. I'm sorry that I've been getting more and more sporadic, but I tell you, the past several months have not been incredibly easy for anybody, for a lot of reasons. You know, you've got, in lots of places, you've got COVID restrictions that are unending, even though during certain times the virus was doing way better as far as the numbers and deaths and new cases per day and all that. Vaccine news continues to be mostly good. Granted, there's like a 1 in a million shot that if you are a woman and you take the single-dose Johnson & Johnson vaccine, you might have blood clot issues, and then there's a 1 in 7 million shot that you die from it. So that's better odds than COVID. Just a lot of stuff that's been tough, but you know, one of the things that I want to mention is kind of a very broad philosophical discussion. Alright, so I want you to sit back and examine some of the bigger decisions in your life. You know, purchasing a home, a dating relationship, a serious relationship, a marriage, a big financial purchase, a career decision. It can even be smaller stuff, but you know, just kind of look at the broader things, the bigger things. They tend to stick out more in your mind. And I'm sure there are some big decisions that you made that were really good. And then there are some big decisions that you made that were really stupid. And then there are some big decisions that you made that were good, but kind of had a bad twist and turn. There are some bad decisions you made that turned out for the better long term through twists and turns. Pardon me. Breakfast. There are some small decisions that you made that were bad that ended up being rather costly. There are some good decisions that you made that were, you know, just a small good decision that, due to the butterfly effect, ended up having a good outcome for years in the way that that decision influenced your life. So, but think about some of those for a second. So, my point is that you're capable of being smart at times. You're capable of being stupid or uninformed or uneducated on a topic, or making just a decision that's not thought out. And lots of things that are not necessarily great qualities of humanity all reside within you. So I said all that to say that whether they're college educated or not, whether they've been in business or not, whether they've done fantastic things or not, doesn't matter. All the politicians that people scream about on social media day in and day out are just people. So think about the dumbest thing that you've done. They're capable of that, just in their own personal lives. Now, times that by controlling the purse strings, controlling public policy, having massive influence on people via the fact that they can make a phone call and get on a camera on national news or social media followings, etc. So just think about the amount of influence that they have, and okay, if they were to make a stupid decision, you know, we're going to do this as a country. Not only does it affect them and their family, but it affects you and your family and your neighbors and the people that live in your community and your distant relatives and everything else. So their good decisions can have a much broader impact, and their bad decisions can have a much broader impact. But I guess that's something that a lot of people just seem to forget. They're just people. You know, I got to get off of here. I'm getting ready to side hustle here in a minute, but I'm pulling up to my next yard here in about 2 minutes. But one of my favorite comedians talks about meeting several of his all-time favorite musicians. This dude's a stand-up comedian, had a TV show forever ago. And he ends up getting contacted at one of his small gigs saying, hey, they want you to come to this show to see him, and they're going to, give you backstage passes and all that. And he's like, I was so nervous to meet these people. The show was phenomenal, but they're just people. Some of them might have overinflated egos, but the best ones are just normal people. They might have way more money than any of us in the bank, but they still put their pants on the same way. They still do normal people things. They still worry about some normal people things as far as health and family and COVID and how crazy everything's getting politically, etc., etc. So they're just people. There was I'll tell you this and then I'm done. One of the coolest things I ever met that ever happened to me as far as a wealthy person, well known in my local community. I used to work at a car dealership in town. They had a franchise they controlled, Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Nissan, Toyota, Mitsubishi, Hyundai. So they had 5 buildings, and the family actually owned a separate set of dealerships a couple towns away. So a very wealthy, very well-known family in the community, did a lot for charity, blah, blah, blah. Good folks, really good folks. And one of the coolest moments that ever happened, the guy that was the brother that his name was on the building, he'd float between buildings and kind of do upper level office work, kind of checking the totals, not getting down to nitty gritty, but checking the totals for things and supervising training, things like that. Everybody, when he'd pull up or ride his motorcycle up or whatever, they would get super concerned because the owner's here. The owner's here. Put your game face on, the owner's here. This one dude, he'd act like someone set his hair on fire and take off running. And I'm like, dude puts his pants on the same way I do every morning. I bet he brushes his teeth and shaves the same way I do every morning. If I do my job, I'm good, and I don't have to just look busy for the sake of him walking in the door to catch me in the middle of something. So I never got that, and one time he walked in, and it was a dead day doing my job. I was caught up on everything I could do at this dealership. I was a service advisor. I'd submitted all my warranty work, contacted all my customers, parts had been ordered, technician workflow had been managed, blah, blah, blah. On and on and on and on the list of service writer stuff goes. Guy walks in, walks right past me, spins on his heels, reaches his hand out and said, "It's good to see you today." The guy could have bought everything I owned 20 times over. But he's just a dude. And I can prove he's just a dude. Whenever we get a cool trade-in, something a little more expensive than what we sold, he'd have to come pick it up and drive it. Dude rode a motorcycle in the summer when it was nice. He's just a dude. Cool dude. Very wealthy dude, but just a dude. So, I don't understand why elected officials or people of status get treated so differently by the majority of society, or why we elevate them so much. They're just people. And I guarantee the politician that you like the most, the star you like the most, the celebrity you like the most, has a handful of moments where they just look at what they did and they go, gosh, I was a moron. I dated my ex for 3 years and refused to open my eyes about who she was. I was a moron. Another funny story, I bought a 2002 or 2003 Ford Ranger four-wheel drive. Hadn't had a four-wheel drive in a number of years. Started using it for off-roading. And I learned you never off-road your payment. It's a bad idea. Especially if it's something that you also use for your side hustle, because then your truck's sitting in the shop with water coming out of every orifice while you're fixing it. That was a ridiculously expensive lesson over the course of time, because water damaged vehicles have problems forever. So just think about that. The person that you think you like the most, that's in any field, is capable of being incredibly smart, incredibly intelligent, making well-informed decisions based on whatever's going on in their life, whatever their finances are, etc. And they're also capable of being doing the dumbest thing possible, where looking back, they will look at it and go, I was an idiot. I've been both. So, anyway, that's kind of what I got. Catch y'all next time. Thanks for tuning in.